Many of you out there own a fixed lens camera, and guess what? Most of you are using it incorrectly. Yeah, I know, I'm going to be preachy today. I'm not. I'm going to be helpful today. Today I'm going to teach you how to fix that. I've used fixed lenses throughout my entire career as an editorial and commercial photographer. In my first year as a freelance out here in Vietnam, I covered all of my assignments, and there was a ton from just about every major newspaper magazine you can imagine. I shot everything with my fixed 35mm. So using a fixed prime taught me patience. It forced me to slow down, to think more, and to move with my feet and not with my lens. And overall, it taught me how to discover more creative compositions by either framing through things or stepping back to wait for a foreground to help me film my frame. Using a fixed lens also helped me define my style as a photographer, at least my style with composition. And lately, I see more and more amateurs who are passionate about street photography opting for fixed lenses. And I like this trend because when used correctly, or learned correctly, I should say, it can really help you take a leap in your photography. However, from what I see on Instagram or in my members' private Facebook group where I critique images, and if you're not a member of my channel, why not? It's only $4.99 a month. You get early access to videos like this. You get exclusive content. You get deals from my online store at askmont.com. You get access to our private Facebook group where I critique images and offer you guys monthly assignments. So check that out by just hitting the join button below. It also helps support this channel, helps me create more what I think is helpful content like this. So many street photographers are opting for fixed lens cameras like the Leica Q series with its fixed 28mm, the Fuji X100 with its fixed 35 equivalent, the Ricoh or Leica M with a prime lens, something I do. All great choices, don't get me wrong, but it comes with a steep learning curve. And I think a lot of popular YouTubers out there, street photographer YouTubers out there who are using these combinations aren't doing it well either. So it's like sort of trickling down. They're teaching how to use it, but they haven't really, not all, but many of them really haven't learned how to use it properly. They just have popular YouTube channels and maybe they put a film filter over it and then people just accept this as good. A lot of times, again, not always, a lot of times it's not. Let's be more constructive. A lot of times it could be a lot better. So if you aren't willing to invest the time to master it, you could end up with boring, empty frames. So why is this leading to boring, empty frames, you say? Well, a common mistake I see, especially for those transitioning from using a zoom lens, maybe a kit lens that came with your camera, and that's how you learned, is when people see a situation they like on the street, they just stop in the moment they see it. Let's say popular 24-70 zoom lens, you might be able to stop and still fill the frame and pull off a decent shot with that approach. That's not typically a recipe for improvement or success, especially with prime lenses. Zooms often dictate your composition, and most likely if you moved a bit using a zoom, you'd find a better composition, and a prime lens will force you to do that, or at least it should force you to do that. So when you bring that zoom lens approach to using fixed lenses, it just doesn't work. It ends up worse than if you used a zoom lens. You end up with empty spaces, lackluster compositions, lots of sky, lots of boring street with nothing in it, and just lots and lots of nothing. I see it, like I said, I see it all the time, and I'm seeing it more and more, and someone had to say something about it. So what should you do to fix it? Enough of the rant. Let's be helpful. Of course I want to be helpful. Let's say you're wandering the streets, just doing street photography, and you spot a scene you like while you're out shooting. Well, the amateur move is to just stop right there. Like I said, oh, I like that scene across the street. That's nice. Maybe the light's okay, or maybe the scene's nice, or maybe both, hopefully both. And you just sort of take a picture. Maybe you go up a little bit, maybe you go down a little bit, but you just kind of snap and then you move on. 9 times out of 10, that's not going to work. Or perhaps it works okay, but a better shot is sure to be had. To make a fixed lens or prime lens work, you need to approach it like a professional would. It's not just about stopping and shooting. You need to stop, recognize the situation or scene you like, and then be thoughtful about where you need to be to capture the scene and tell the story you want to tell. Ask yourself lots of good questions. Do I need to cross the street for a better angle? Should I stay where I am to avoid disturbing the moment that might be lost if I get close or if I interact? Or do you need to pull back a little bit to get a nice foreground layer passing through your shot? Or is the scene special enough to go talk to the person and see if the person is open to letting you shoot them a bit while they go back to whatever they were doing or whatever that scene was that you liked? And maybe they're okay with it, maybe they're not, but maybe that approval will make you feel a little bit more confident and help you experiment in your photography, which will inevitably help you grow and most likely lead to a better picture in that moment. When I take people on the streets of Hanoi, for example, for my workshops, I see them always do this. They've got their fixed cue, they see a scene they like, someone making food or working a craft, and they stop in their track and they just shoot. And rarely it pays off. The times it does pay off is for the ones that stop and decide or even declare, I'm going to get a nice shot out of this. I'm not going to move on until I do. I'm going to move, and I'm not going to move on from the scene until I get it. The latter mindset is the one that's ready to use a fixed lens. The former will continue to use a zoom lens and just get so-so shots, and the lens will dictate their composition. So once you've made the decision to be the person who doesn't give up on a shot, to be the person that asks thoughtful questions about where you should be and why, then, only then, are you ready for a prime. Of course, it doesn't mean you can't buy a prime lens. I don't mean that, but some situations aren't gonna work out where you have time to do that. Not every single time, I get that, but that is the mindset it takes to get successful images with a prime lens. Anyone can use a prime lens. I'm not saying don't buy it. The person that's really gonna buy into that mindset, to not give up, to not leave a situation until they make a nice frame out of it, that's the person that should be, I should say, should be using a prime lens. And as always, photography should be fun, especially for amateurs, and don't forget that. And by no means am I knocking those who don't want to invest the time or people that only want to use zooms. Plenty do it well and plenty do it better than I do. I occasionally use zooms myself. It's rare, but it happens. But I'm talking about those who have invested in the Q or use a Ricoh or use that Fuji, use that prime lens, and you want to get better. It's okay to not want to get better too. I totally get that. This is all just my opinion. Don't take it too serious. I'm a pro. I've made a career shooting with a prime lens, working this way. It's worked well for me. It might not work for everyone. It's not everyone's thing, but I do see a lot of you out there investing your time in your photography, investing in gear like a Q system, investing in using a prime lens. I just want to give you guys some advice on how to improve that if you want to improve. I have to put that caveat. People have been really negative lately. A lot of you are great in the comment section, but there's always the negative Nellies out there. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this episode. Don't forget to check out my online store at askmott.com. I've got a lot of one-on-one online classes open to anyone out there who wants to improve, and open to all levels and all ages and people all around the world. I also do private workshops for anyone that's willing to invest to fly me somewhere. I do private one-on-one workshops anywhere in the world. Just contact me. One of my producers will get in touch with you with a rate depending on how many days and where in the world. We can put that all together for you. I also have my Northern Vietnam photography workshop this December, a couple slots left. I've got a whole bunch of other stuff at my online store at askmott.com. And as always, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to have a wonderful day.